like so. Okay? Yeah. So find the wall, put your shoulder against the wall, and then you eliminate a lot of the extra movement. Let's talk about a baton, for those who use a baton. The baton is the thing we use to show what our intention is. Baton is just an extension of our finger, of our index finger, like so. People say, well, do you need a baton? No, you don't. But it helps. I use one, but I often don't use one either. Do you know where my intent is? Yeah. So I can show my intent without a baton. But a baton simply is an extension of my index finger. You have to show your intent. And your intent should be beyond the furthest row. So if I'm conducting, my intent has to be beyond that wall. If your intent is only here in front of you, these people aren't going to be engaged. Do you feel that we're communicating? Yeah. And that's what a baton does. It makes you figure out where your intent is. Now, if you hold a baton like this, that means your intent is there and you're looking over here. If you hold a baton like this, it means your intent is up there, but you're addressing the group here. You feel the difference? So if I'm conducting like this, okay, my intent is up there, okay, that's fine. But once I do this, it's different. Also, when you're using your baton, there are different levels. There are planes. If I want the basses to sing down here, I'm not going to conduct up here. I want the basses down here. The basses feel this. Whether it's the basses singing or the bass clarinet, second bassoon, they feel it. They'll identify with it. Sopranos will feel this. Flutes will feel this. Mid-range is right here. So you can elicit, depending on what you want to hear. If you listen very carefully, you always want to hear the lowest voice and conduct to the lowest voice. So people who are conducting a full ensemble up here like this, they're missing the point because harmonies start from the bottom and they work up. If they're only conducting up here, they're getting the treble, but they're not getting the foundation of how it's built. So as you conduct, what you want to do is you want to hear the lowest voice, conduct to the lowest voice, and once that foundation is there, everything that comes above it will be firmer and more in tune. So choose the plane that you want to conduct. And because you have students, you can try this tomorrow. You can conduct the same pattern here, 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 and you can hear the difference in the sound. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I had students, graduate conducting students, and they were doing this and this. I mean, they were jumping and, and big, because they wanted more sound. I said, that's not really going to help it. They wouldn't believe me. Okay. But they did, they weren't getting that big, rich sound. So I came, I said, okay, thank you. It's the same thing, same passage, but I did it from here. And yeah. So let's talk about baton. People think, well, if I get a longer baton, I'll be a better conductor. Well, not really. It depends on you. Let's see. Look at this. So put this to your shoulder. The baton should actually come to the bend of your arm and then fit the middle of your hand. And then from here, there. This is the perfect size for me. It may not be the perfect size for you. That's why they have different sizes. But you see, it's just an extension. From here to here to here to here. That's the perfect size. If it were longer, it would be too long. The baton should balance right where your fingers meet. So if you look at this spot right here, that's where it should be. This is a perfectly balanced baton. So when you're shopping for batons, try those things out. This is a balance point. And it's right here where my fingers should meet. You see? Okay, so let's save a little time for questions, and let's have some. You can have a seat. Let's have someone conduct. Do we need a stand or anything? Do we have any volunteers? Okay, come on up. Okay, why don't you conduct a 4 pattern for us?
Usually the sound connected.
Imagine it in your head.
Yeah.
Imagine singing it in your head.
Good. Now do a staccato 4. Okay. See, this is very good. Did you study with Gukin?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Larry and I were good friends. We'd always compare notes. One is the most important beat of all, and one needs to be directly in front of you. If it's off to the side, that's a problem. With musicians, they really aren't going to have the time to watch your every move. They're going to be able to look up and then go back to their music. So one has to be consistent. See? One should be here. So as we drop it, one should be there. Now, watch this. Open your chest. See, your shoulders went up. I want your shoulders to go down. I want your feet to go down. I want your chest to open. What happens if you conduct like this? Where's your intent going?
Up and out. Yeah.
Relax. And so there's a line that comes just like this. Just like this. This will be parallel to the ground. Now breathe. Conduct 4 again. Now, with conducting 4, I want you to, in the left hand, do a crescendo diminuendo, but not like this. Good. Now, expand the phrase like so.
It's a little bit awkward coming back.
Mm-hmm. So you're phrasing now. You have 2 hands, which means they shouldn't be doing the same thing all the time. Now, do a circle. Long phrase. You're making a nice arch there. But you're keeping the be steady in this hand. Don't lift your shoulders. If you lift your shoulders, they'll feel tight.
Yeah.
Okay?
You usually start with your palm down when you're doing that, or do you think about it? Do you?
Well, if I want a crescendo, yeah, and that's a very good question. If I'm asking you for something, yeah,
Palm up.
I'm at, please, may I have more? Thank you very much. That's enough. so let's see. Let's pick on somebody. Okay, I'm going. And if I want a person in particular, I'll do this, and then you see that. But then when there's a diminuendo. So as you engage someone, your palm is up and is going toward them. And as you want them to diminuendo, your palm is down and it comes back. Now, that's rude. Sometimes brass players don't mind. Brass players don't mind. And for those of you who don't conduct a full orchestra all the time, it's really funny because here are the strings. You conduct the string section, and there, that's it. Okay, cellos, thank you very much. Basses, violas. Okay, woodwinds. Brass. I mean, am I right? Yeah. And then I love doing Beethoven 9. We did Beethoven 9 last May. And I told the strings and the woodwinds, I said, I will love you for 3 movements. Mm-hmm. But after that, my attention belongs to the choir. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're conducting choir and band or orchestra at the same time, that choir is going to take your, I mean, they look for that. That eye contact with the choir is far more than with the instrumentalists. So here's the soprano sitting on that high note. You better support them, you know, and you better get ready. So, yeah, this is for the choir. You know, so that left hand, and one of the things I find most young conductors don't do enough is have the independence of hands. Because the students will understand. We think, well, oh, they don't know. No, they know. So when you can do this to one group and this to another, you got their attention. They're coming down, and they are engaged. So think, you have two hands, use both, and then also with your body movements, with your eye contact. I made a crescendo once just by intensifying my stare, or just opening my chest. Makes a difference in the sound. Okay. Oh, thank you. Any more volunteers? Yes, come on up.
I'm only volunteering because I haven't conducted in 13 years.
Yeah. Oh, well, good.
I've been teaching elementary and now I'm in middle school again.
Yeah, well, that's great. You know, someone said there was only one time that I blew up in my conducting class. When I was at Central, I had lots of conducting students. There was only one time that I ever blew up. I don't blow up very often, but when I do, it's bad. Mm-hmm. And so this woman came up, and it was her turn to conduct, and it was like, I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "Well, I'm only going to be conducting middle school." Oh, I said, "Do you know that this is where they need the conductor the most? Because at the middle school level, they need a good conductor. You can actually get away with not conducting very well in high school because they're smart enough to play on their own. But with the middle schoolers, you're it. Help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope." So I blew up at her. She became an insurance salesman, and then it was just, which is fine because she didn't belong in the schools. What are you going to? Do you have something in particular you're going to conduct for us, or?
I didn't bring anything. No.
Okay. Well, why don't you conduct a 4 pattern, or okay? Uh-huh. That was very good. That was very good. It was very clear. Couple things that I want you to think about.
Forward.
Imagine a line coming from the center and it intersecting right here. Okay? Sink into your heels. Sink into your heels. Now bring your left arm out too, the same way. Okay? Sink into your heels. Head up. Heels down. Chest open. me look at that. You see the difference? Conduct again from there. Sink into your heels. Now, let's do something from here out. Okay, go ahead. You're retreating. Come on a bit more. There you go. Okay, now I want you to put your intention at the tip of your baton and send it out. Ah, see what the eyes did? All the way to the back wall. Ah, there we go. Last chair viola, right here. Here I am. Here I am. There you go. Here I am. Last chair viola. Well, I do too. They're my favorite. Now, I want you to address the cellos. Okay, as you're conducting. Okay. Good. Now, a couple things. As we pivot, so we're conducting like so. It's okay to take a step.
Okay.
When we address a section, it's better if we address them straight on. If we do a glancing thing, if we do that, it's not as effective as this. But you have to worry about what's going on here. So you could. So here I'm conducting, and then that's where the left hand comes in. You're still engaged with the people there, but your chest is pointing. You're squaring up with whomever you're addressing. This is different than this. So you have the ability to pivot. Like so. Do it again. Sink into your heels. You know what? You have a tendency that makes groups uncomfortable. You won't get the sound you want if you're doing this. You'll get a better sound if you sink your heels into the ground. Oh, as opposed to. So go ahead, do it again. And make sure you extend those arms and don't allow it to come in this way. Let me go back to my viola section. I'm the last chair. Good. I felt that. Good. Now give me a piano. Crescendo to forte. Marcato now. Heavy marcato. Now do a marcato from your feet as opposed to your shoulders. There you go. Can you see the difference? Yeah. If you do it from your shoulders, it's not the same. It's not the same as doing it from your. You see that? Mm-hmm. Boom, boom, as opposed to. Try that. Okay, play with it. Yeah, play with it. What you want to do is you want to get to the point where it all comes from here. Sink into your heels. And when you give a marcato, because if you do it from your shoulders, first of all, they'll get sore. But it's not the same. This is better. Yeah. Good. You're going to do fine. Come on, Bryce. Just conduct it. Find something in your head and conduct it. Good. First of all, not good. Watch. Do you see how, if you're doing that, you want to minimize this? Because what could happen if that wrist is locked? I mean, if that wrist is that flexible, going from here. So, if you're going from here, you want to minimize the wrist. If it's doing this, that becomes hard to see. I mean, put the beat in front of you, from your center. Your beat tends to be over here. When I conduct over here, I'm not associated with the beat pattern. It's too casual. It's over there somewhere. When I'm doing it right in front of me, right from my center, this is me. Bam. That's different than here or here. Okay? So, there and not there. Because I'm looking at you, but the baton is over here. Better that the baton is an extension of my intent. as opposed to. Okay. Do it again. This time minimize